Hi everyone, this is Tori Vandelin with Prevent Connect. If you listened to part 1 of this podcast, you heard Angela Lee of Love is Respect and Arlene Vassell of the National Resource Center on Domestic Violence enlighten and inspire us about the power of youth leadership and how crucial it is to think of prevention both as empowering and meeting communities' basic needs. This podcast continues our conversation and dives deeper into what it means to build relationships with youth, especially in our current context as we navigate a new normal. Arlene, what you said about prevention provides the hope. I feel like I should paint that on a canvas and hang it in my home office space.
Send me a copy. Send me a copy so I can put it up too.
Of course.
Me one too.
All right.
My next question was going to be about how have you seen conversations and actions to prevent teen dating violence shift since Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month 2020, February 2020, which was right before this COVID-19 pandemic and all of the other intersecting, overlapping, and other social justice and social issue pandemics that we've faced in the last calendar year. I know you all talked about that a bit in our last question, but I do want to give you one opportunity to add anything else along that thread that you want to talk about, just how we've seen teen dating violence prevention change since our world has completely changed in the last year.
So I do know one thing that I've noticed in the conversations that I've been a part of, and hopefully it'll lead to a real pivot, right, around how advocates, activists, and quote unquote preventionists work together, right? What we've realized is when the shift happened or is happening, some preventionists or prevention programs, they're feeling like a fish out of water, when literally their work should be in community, right? The work is building community. So I think that's being revealed. That's a revelation that we can't go back to business as usual when we talk about prevention, right? We can't dismiss root causes. We can't dismiss the structural injustices that families and individuals and communities are facing when we're talking about prevention. We have to acknowledge all of that. And the recent pandemics have really brought it, like many of us, we've known all of this has been happening, right? So it has brought it in your face to everybody right there where you just really can't dismiss it anymore, right? So I think that's one shift. People are trying to break down silos. People are trying to figure out new ways to do their work. And I'm excited about that because we've been trying to break down the silos forever, right? And I think now when the pandemics continue to happen, and preventionists was trying to figure out, how do I do my work? Where do I fit? Then they had to start communicating with individuals that's providing basic needs to families and communities. So that's exciting for me as far as a shift. Breaking down the silos, engaging with marginalized communities in meaningful ways, or re-examining what that engagement has looked like, and now committing to pivoting how they engage with marginalized communities. So
because with all the different movements that's going on, the conversation is happening. Our young people are really speaking out, right? But you went from being able to speak out, being able to engage, and now you got to look at how you're going to do that differently. And with the caution. Go ahead, Arlene.
No, I was just going to say what you said. Young people, they've made it clear they can lead.
Yeah, they made it real clear. Exactly. So, and you brought up a key word too, and it's a simple word, but it's a powerful word: change. We have to know how to change, right? We have to know how to adapt to change. And our young people are looking to us to provide that information, right? Because now with the isolation and everything happening online, digital abuse has escalated, right? Financial abuse has increased, different types, but we won't know unless we're having these conversations with our young people and finding out, and making sure that the public is aware of these different situations, making sure that we're educating the people who are influencers in our targeted audience life about what their needs are and how to have that conversation. And it's so many different pieces. I don't want to repeat what you said because I agree 100%, Arlene, but just really, the work will never stop, but we have to change with what the needs are, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. Exactly. Exactly. And I think whether you're doing intervention, whether you're doing prevention, all of what you just said stands true. We cannot go through what we have gone through and continue to go through with business as usual. Like, that's just not possible. I think that's disrespectful to any community, any marginalized communities that you're going in, and wanting to build trust or, build trust, because how are you showing up for the other issues, right? That are critically important, for these families and young people. How are you showing up now for issues that young people are passionate about, right? How can we go into particular communities and effectively implement prevention programs when some of the organizations that we're collaborating with, they're causing harm to young people? So we're talking about youth relationship violence, but they're experiencing violence from organizations that we are collaborating with, right? How do you justify that with young people? And how do you justify that? You got to show up. You got to show up for young people. You got to show up for issues.
They're demanding it.
Yes, for issues they are passionate about. If you don't show up, then you're not going to build trust, right? You got to show up. You show up to build trust.
I like that. So hopefully that answered your question, Tori. I'm sorry, me and Arlene, we just get carried away.
I know, we just talking.
I love this. I'm like, I feel like I just have to interject for the next question because you all are having a great conversation. And, I'm sitting here like nodding,
Okay.
Yeah, yep, all on mute so I don't interrupt your flow. But yeah, but what you all were just talking about, building trust with youth, meeting youth where they're at, that looks a lot different right now. Mm-hmm. And I have heard that, folks are really struggling with, how do we do this now? When there's no physical meeting place, or maybe it's not the safest option for staff to go to a physical meeting space, even with masks and social distancing. Mm-hmm. So, and Angela, you've talked about this where everything is online right now. So, including the ways that youth are experiencing violence too. But when we think about prevention practitioners engaging in events, conversations, promotion of Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, what tips do you have for them this year in a mostly virtual context? How can they better engage youth, build trust, and really build up some momentum during Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month?
Yeah. One of the biggest teachers is by trial and error, right? But I would just say, you have to get creative. We're going to have to get creative. Young people are very creative, right? And while we're doing virtual trainings and meetings a lot, that doesn't mean that everything has to be like on social media or online. You can encourage young people, you work with, to record maybe videos or make art, or that's a great way to stay connected. And we have to encourage self-care. We have to encourage self-care. It's okay to step up. It's also okay to step back, right? Mm-hmm. But this is still very serious. So it's often easier just to have a courageous conversation, when you can see someone face to face, right? And watch their body language in person. But it's different now because everything that we knew as norm is different. So I would encourage you, just to exercise like even more. You got to be even more patient, right? Be even more trustworthy, be more explicit about like offering your support, like and something as simple as asking, what do you need from me? You know, don't bark at them. They have their own voice. They want to hear, you know, but also emphasizing that you're really there for these young people, right? Even in the most difficult times. I think that's the most important thing.
And it's like you said exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking the first thing I thought about though when Tori mentioned that is ask young people. Ask young people, like programs should connect with young people. They know how to stay connected. They've been staying connected. Be ready to think outside the box. Be ready to ditch the script. Be ready to ditch the curriculum. I know, Tori, I don't know
Get
if that's
informal.
going to
Let's
keep
get
at it.
informal.
But
Yeah.
yes, but adapt the curriculum or, adapt your strategies. It goes back to what you said, Tori, is meeting young people where they're at. They're staying connected, right? So talk to young people, think out the box, reimagining, like you said, Angela, creativity. What does creativity look like? Ask young people. They'll tell you. They are really creative. And that's what we have learned, like, over the last 6 months. I have seen young people just shine. And like the list is too long. Of young people that has just shined in the public.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and in communities, if you're in the correct environment, if you're connecting with communities, you'll see what I see. If you're in the communities, you'll see what I see. And I see young people being resilient. I see young people just shining.
Yeah.
But if you're not connected, if you're not connected, if you're not connected in the communities, you won't know.
Yeah. That's where the creativity is going to have to come to play, especially with, the temperature of what we're at in the world right now. But it'll make the curriculums and all these different tools or trainings or whatever we organizations are wanting to move forward with so much easier to create if we ask young people.
And the thing about it is, and you're not ditching the curriculums permanently, right? You're ditching the curriculums for the moment so you can meet young people where they're at, meet families and individuals and communities where they're at. Absolutely. Take this time to build trust.
Build trust. And you said another powerful word, change. We got to change.
Exactly. It can't be business back. Back to business, there's a new norm. We have to shift and pivot with the new norm. Yeah,
absolutely. And the ditching the script, ditching the curriculum, it makes me think of a question that we've been asking ourselves for the last 10, 11 months since so much of what is called prevention or what is labeled as prevention was in person, in workshops, in communities. So you kind of have to take a step back and say, what is prevention? Is prevention the words in the curriculum, or is prevention the connections that we make with one another through these engagements?
Ooh, snap. I'm snapping now, Tori.
I'm snapping with her. That's good, Tori. That's really good.
Yeah, that's good. Ooh, that's a good word.
Right. So I keep hearing change, the power of change, the need to change. There's a new norm. Arlene, I love what you said about, treating things like business as usual is a disrespect, and therefore we need to adapt and change.
Yes.
So when we think about these awareness months, as we have them throughout the year, it feels like there's so much in one month that sets the tone and direction for the next year. So what do you hope that sexual intimate partner violence, teen dating violence prevention practitioners will take from this Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in order to change their prevention work year round?
I have a couple. I have a couple.
Go ahead,
ideas.
Arlene.
I have a couple ideas, sorry. And I think I said it earlier and I want to repeat it, is how are you showing up for young people, particularly young people in marginalized communities, particularly Black and Brown young people, because we all know if you create your program strategies to address, to improve outcomes for the most marginalized people, right? It'll benefit everyone. So how are you building community? How are you showing up for young people to support issues that they are passionate about all year round? Right? So not only lifting up youth voices, not only centering young people, not only reaching out to young people in December and January to prepare for February. How are you connecting with young people all year round? And if these pandemics didn't teach us anything else, young people know how to lead. So trust young people to lead, right? And then the other thing, as an ally, because I have to check myself as well. I've passed the space or the age where I can consider myself a young person, and my kids remind me about that often. So even personally, like, allyship is earned. You don't get a badge, right? You don't get a badge to say I'm a lifetime ally, right? To young people. Young people, they have to define and accept you into their space as an ally. And they get to define what allyship look like, what allyship feel like, all of that. Like, we as allies, me as an ally, I don't get to do that. I don't get to go in and say, trust me, I'm an ally. So this is the thing around, back to your question, Tori, year round, what can people do? People can engage with young people, build trust, and work with young people for them to tell them what allyship look like, and then follow what young people are telling you they need from allies all year round, all year round. And February will get easier if you do this all year round.
That's it. I totally agree. I mean, yes, we're lifting the message of knowing your worth in February, but that's something that young people should know throughout their life, throughout the year, right?
Yeah.
And I think for practitioners, yeah, especially when you're dealing with sexual and intimate partner violence, right? I think this issue that we talk about must be talked about, just like Arlene said, all year round, right? And we want to make this be the new normal, right? Despite everything that's going on, right? Because the issue was there before the pandemic, and the issue will probably be there continuously. Yeah. So how can we make it the new normal? Like, when you think about like, forced sexual encounters are by definition sexual assaults, right? But pay attention, because a lot of young people feel like they'll be judged. They feel like they'll be blamed or hollered at, or whatever the case may be. There's a hesitation to really speak out, right? So like Arlene said, build that trust, right? Yeah. Build that trust is so important, because we won't stop until, and make that message real clear. We will not stop until everyone knows what they deserve in a relationship. Yes. And we invite practitioners, we invite other organizations, we invite teachers, coaches, family members, everyone to join us. It's just that simple.
Yes, I agree.
I love this. It's welcoming a new normal of practicing allyship with youth to build trust and connect with them throughout the year. Because we all know that violence is not siloed or contained just within the awareness months in which we talk about it. And they're also not siloed and contained within their own categories of violence. We know that these intersect with other forms of violence. They're caused by systems of oppression. So this isn't a one-time, 1 month conversation. This is the month to gather, gain energy, and find a way forward for the year. Set that tone of what is our new norm going to be for between now and when we have this conversation again. So
recognize that LGBTQ community, their needs and their specific needs around what that looks like as far as support may look a lot differently. A Black or brown person is going to look a lot differently. Like, you got to really, nothing fits in a vacuum. So we have to be able to adapt in order to respect and support. And but the only way we're going to know what they need is to ask them.
Yep. Exactly. And I think the other thing that I want to highlight, Tori, when you said connect with them all year round, the part that I don't want to miss is connect with them on issues that are important to them. Right? So connect, like show up for issues that they are passionate about. And that's how you build trust, right?
Because they feel heard.
Exactly. And supported, right? And supported. And then of course you can, then you can have that conversation about what you're wanting to do, right? About what you're trying to do. Get their input on that first of all, and then and support them in what is important, passionate, and passionate for them.
Yeah. That, Arlene, thank you so much. That is such an important paradigm shift from meeting with youth and saying, how can you help me prevent teen dating violence? Shifting instead to say, how can I help you?
Yes.
What are you passionate about?
That just gave me goosebumps.
Yes, me too. Yes, Tori. Yes.
Yeah, and it's such an important practice in our field too, because we know that, we're not in vacuums, we're not in silos. And we also know that we have a generation of youth who are active, engaged, and passionate about so many social issues. And it's our responsibility as prevention practitioners to help build those connections for folks too. So for youth that are interested in the climate crisis, we have the knowledge to be able to connect that back to how that relates to violence. But, supporting youth through their activism and their engagement there, that's really where our role fits in.
And I think that's where it's been a struggle, because practitioners show up as the content experts. And if you're showing up in spaces where youth are actually leading, then you have to fall back and follow. And oftentimes there's an ego thing, there's a professionalism thing, there's a whole lot of things that prevent individuals from following, right? And not having to be the expert in this space.
Sometimes we need to get informal so we can influence the biggest impact, Sometimes that's just what they need,
Yeah, humility.
Yes.
Which is the key to a great leader.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. This has been an incredible, energizing, inspiring conversation. And I cannot thank you two enough so much for spending this time for me. We only have a little bit of time left on this podcast. So before we sign off, do you have any final words of encouragement or resources that you want to share with our audience?
Go ahead, Arlene.
No, I just want, people to learn more about our One Thing messaging campaign, and learn more about the strategies that we've been using to integrate awareness plus prevention. So again, it's the awareness piece, it's the prevention piece, and all of that information can be found at dvawareness.org. And you'll also, we also have a list of activities that we're hosting during Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month that centers the lived experiences and the voices of young people. I'm really excited about a podcast that we have coming up in February that the young people who's working with the organization to develop a youth social media campaign is going to participate there. And the title, just the title, gets me excited. So it's Joy, Pride, and Passion of Youth Activism. So
Wow.
yes, just the title gets me excited. Yes, gets me really excited. And so we have a bunch of technical assistance questions for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month over the last few years that we've engaged young people. And so, yeah, we want to share all those resources, and you can, again, access our Awareness Month resources on dvawareness.org.
That's right. Yeah. And this has been a really great honor to have this conversation. It made my heart smile, really. I just can't say it enough. Love is respect, period, right? That's just as simple as I can keep it. And it's important to know our worth. So we do have key dates coming up. You can go to our website at loveisrespect.org, and we will have Respect Week. We're going to have action guides up for that. We're going to have our action guides up. You can request our action guides through our website. And if anyone is experiencing, unhealthy relationships, or maybe you just want to know if you're even in an unhealthy relationship, you can text us or chat or call. You can text at LoveIs 22522, or you can call at 1-866-331-9474, and you can also chat live. But please visit our website. We will have the information up. We definitely support the number one thing that was part of our thing last year. And I just think that together we're making a difference. So yeah, I'm really excited about being Love is Respect being a stepping stone in spreading awareness for teens and young adults, not just teens, young adults too. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. This conversation just filled my heart with lots of joy. And Tori, you asked a question about virtual, right? Well, we accomplished that today. We did a lot of connections. We made a lot of connections, and my heart is full on this Friday afternoon. Yep.
Oh, thank you. Yep. I feel the same fullness in my heart, and so much gratitude for both of you, and hope we get to have more conversations like this soon. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the resources Arlene and Angela talked about in this podcast, linked on our website.